Oh, I thought you were going to say, hi, I'm Nat.
Fine. Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy. I managed to drag Nat out of bed so she can get on the mic, but she's not camera ready because she was feeling sick all day.
Yep.
So I'll be your main host, but she will chime in off camera today.
Yes.
So she'll be reading the articles and making general commentary.
Yes.
Okay. You got anything to tell the people? How you been? How you feeling?
My voice is getting back, but now my nose is the problem. And just general malaise. It's weird because I never get sick. That's the thing. It's in the past 5 years, especially during the never got sick once. I have no stomach issues, nothing, but once in a blue moon, I guess. But I usually get over it pretty quickly, so I should be back by Monday. I will be back by Monday.
Yeah, well, I had just gotten sick with food poisoning a few days ago, and she said, well, I never get sick, and when I do, it's only for one day. It's been a couple of days now, and she's still not better, but...
I feel like someone cursed us.
I don't know. Maybe one of the trans witches.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's get into some cultural stories. Before we do, I got a lot of good political analysis today about what's going on in the U.S. and China conflict and how it's escalating into maybe a Navy blockade. That's my analysis so far anyway, but let's get into the cultural stuff.
And also, obviously, there won't be any Spanish stuff because
until Monday
I can't talk properly until Monday, exactly. But thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that is here, and say hello to my stand-in.
Yeah, this is Nat stand-in. We'll have she'll dub the voiceover for you.
Yes. Okay, so first story, Minecraft movie director says it's weird the cops are being called over, cheering and throwing popcorn at rowdy screenings. It's hilarious.
Okay, yeah, I covered this story yesterday, and this was super interesting because with the footage, if you haven't had a chance to see it, people are buying the largest buckets of popcorn. Everybody in the audience, they're throwing it and dumping it everywhere. When different memes in the movie come up, they're bringing barn animals in, such as chickens, and they're just taking off their shirts and going absolutely wild in the theaters. They're trying to get viral TikTok moments. So large groups of teenagers are going in, taking over the theater and acting extremely rowdy. Theaters really don't know what to do with these teenagers. They're warning them. The warnings aren't working. So now it's escalated to calling the police. Now, I'm sure for the director, he's absolutely loving this because I don't know. I can't remember anything happening like this for another movie. Do you?
Well, we had issues with, what was it? Well, the Batman one that, there was someone that took a pew-pew.
The bad thing, yeah, but not on a regular basis, showing after showing where it's just disrupting the theater.
Not recently, at least. No, I think like with the Jackass ones and all of those, maybe, but
no.
The
theaters are also hurting, and the fact that they're able to sell out this Minecraft movie that with massive amounts of kids that want to come for these meme moments, I don't know if they even really want to turn them away. So it's it did kind of happen during Wicked, where people were showing up with their faces painted, and a lot of theaters started saying you're not allowed to come in with a painted face, and they made a huge, because they were all dressing up as Alphaba, like all green. Yeah.
And the theaters said, no, you can't come in like this, and they made a huge issue over it, the people that were doing it, but I think that's the most recent thing.
Well, I'm really thinking this could become a concerning event because it is becoming a huge TikTok trend. And this is the first real movie theater TikTok trend. And a movie theater is a public place and a shared space. So we have shared, you're on pretty good behavior when you go to the movies. You turn off your phone. You're generally quiet. If this escalates into the next movie comes out, a scary movie or something else, and you have to do more and more and more in order to get viral TikTok moments in theaters. I could see this getting out of control in a couple of years.
Yeah, but it's also,
for right now, I think it's fine and I think it's funny, but I can see where it might go.
But for me, the main thing would be the fact that it's not nice to either the other moviegoers or the people that have to pick up, as you spoke about yesterday, who have to pick up all that mess. Unless they're paying them extra, it's not fair on them either. And so the article goes on to say Minecraft movie director Jared Hess is responding to the rowdy screenings of his blockbuster sensation. And he said, it's weird when you have too much fun and the cops get called, has told Entertainment Weekly. It's funny because I think it's just literally cheering and throwing popcorn, which is so funny to me that cops are getting called for popcorn. Yeah, it's hilarious. I've seen so many funny videos. It's great, especially when people are climbing on their friends' shoulders and standing up and cheering for those moments. It's like this crazy anticipation, but man, I'm just glad people are making memories with their friends and family. And I mean, yes, that's one way to see it, but at the same time, it's who else are you affecting? Like the whole conversation around TikTok and the fact that people are not taking into account other people's time, feelings, the work they have to do, and this lack of, I wouldn't say morals, but just manners.
But yeah, that's this generation. So this generation really doesn't have consideration for others like I think previous generations kind of had. And it could absolutely have a potential to ruin public spaces. Not yet, but going forward, we'll see what happens. It's all in good fun right now, though.
But I don't love the director encouraging it either.
No, but...
Because he should be coming out and saying, hey, there's also people that have to pick up after you. Like, I don't know how you behave at home, but this is not, a well-mannered crowd. And if you're going to continue to do it, there should be some sort of consequences because it's not fair on others.
Yeah, but I also think the director...
He's encouraging
it. It wasn't the most spectacularly directed movie. And the fact that it's caught fire because it had a huge built-in audience. I think the more money it makes, it really covers up for his lack of actual ability when it comes to directing. Mm-hmm. So he's absolutely loving this. Everybody that's been involved in this movie right now is extending their careers. A lot of the people before this movie came out were expected to get fired in the back offices, but this movie had really saved some people's asses. Okay, let's go into, what I was thinking? While I start talking about this story, why don't you look up an article about the Universal Disney thing? We were watching that last night.
Sure.
Okay.
So just the opening of Universal?
Yeah, you can go back to the article. I'll talk about this one.
And also we do have some comments. Thank you so much. So Mawa says, get well soon, Nat. Blessings. Thank you. I'm trying. You should be good by now, but apparently not. And Walker says, oh, you're good now, Nat. Well, at least I can talk-ish, but my nose is stuffy, so I don't love how I sound. But yeah, start talking.
Okay, maybe bring up the article a little bit.
What article? You told me to look something up.
Oh, okay. So I'll talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. So it's Discovery Channel and Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav. Annual pay raise, gets a slight pay raise. Hits $51.9 million. This is insane that studio heads get paid this much. So this is almost approaching $5 million a month this guy is getting paid. And yeah, Hollywood makes a lot of money, but yesterday I was talking about the Chinese population, and when I was doing the research for that story, I was looking at the salaries of different people in China and in their careers. The largest bank in the world is a Chinese bank. The head of that bank only makes I think it's $120,000 a year. The head of some of the other banks in the U.S., which are considerably smaller, make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So it's a little bit crazy how much some of these people are getting paid, and it's like the money's going straight to the top to one person. I would love to see if that was distributed a bit better, and if a studio had maybe like a shared revenue profit model or something. That sounds a little bit socialist, but for that amount of money to go to one studio head, and we know that actors take just absolute massive chunks of this stuff, so these budgets are really going to a few people. But did you find a story on what we're talking about with Universal?
Yeah, you just want like regular.
Yeah, just so we can talk the basic talking points about what our thoughts are.
Yes, give me 1 second.
It's less about the article and just having something on screen.
Yes.
Okay, so we were watching, what was it, WDW Pro last night?
Yeah.
And they were going into the new Universal, is it Studios?
Universal Epic Universe.
It's called Universal Epic Universe. It's just down the street from Disney World, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It's been pre-open for the press and things like this, so people have been taking tours. The rides have been open, and it is it puts Disney World to shame. And Disney World is one of the most profitable things Disney has. So with this level of competition, I don't think it's going to be able to withstand it. The only saving grace is the capacity of the park is not extremely high yet. And they're going to, what did they say they were going to do with the capacity the first year?
So they're going to minimize capacity a little bit just to make it so everybody that goes has this great experience. And then by word of mouth, they start being able to get more and more people in for the second year. Epic Universe opens to the public on May 12th, I believe, but in May at least. But all the previews and all of the influencers going to take video. All of this video is from Park Hoppin', which is also a great source if you want to know stuff about theme parks. But it looks absolutely amazing. They were also saying, because they went, Park Hopping D3PO, I think is his name. He went to Epic Universe recently when they had a preview, and he said that surprisingly Isle of Berk ended up being one of the more interesting ones, which is the How to Train Your Dragon Land. But it also has, let me see what they're
Well, I
called.
was hearing that for some of these rides, they have queues that they built that can hold enough people, up to a 6-hour wait. And they have shows and characters and animatronics in the line as you wait. And the actual places where you're waiting in these queues look absolutely phenomenal. They've built complete worlds around the queues, so you're entertained for the 6 hours while you wait. Something Disney just absolutely lacks at this point.
Yeah, so it's 4 lands. It's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with the Ministry of Magic, where that 6-hour wait queue inside in the air conditioning is, which is something Disney doesn't do.
Who had the Harry Potter land?
Universal.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, so
that's why I wanted to go. The Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe, which is all of the it's all of the villains, basically. So it's the classic Universal villains, being Dracula, being, what's the name of the guy that gets electrocuted and revived? Frankenstein. My brain doesn't work today. They also have completely new roller coaster rides that have never been tried before. Stardust Racers is one of them, which is what we're seeing on screen right now. But yes, so everything they've done is completely new, basically new experiences, and also expanding upon universes, which is very important for them, with Dark Universe, for example, being essentially 365 days a year. What's it called? Their whole thing during Halloween Horror Nights. It's basically like a 365 Halloween Horror Nights.
Also, what I heard is that they have all the hotels and everything that empty right into the park.
Well, there's one inside the park, which is the most expensive one. It's Helios, but then they have the Terra Nova and Terra Luna, I think it was called. One is
directly connected with the park.
5-minute walk away.
Yeah, this is
the only one that's in the park is Helios.
But that was a phenomenal idea. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go to Waterworld, you're getting all wet. You go back to your hotel room, which is in the park, right in your door, come right out and continue. And each of these worlds are completely immersive and completely disconnected from one another. So once you enter a portal into one of the new worlds, you just completely forget about the last one.
Mm-hmm. And then in contrast, what Disney has planned is essentially just getting rid of the Rivers of America, which is this iconic last bit of park that Walt Disney actually touched and had any influence over. And now they're deciding to just pour more IP and literal dirt into it, because they're putting dirt into the Rivers of America to make it into a Cars ride experience. Stupidity.
Even if they wanted to do something like extremely imaginative and innovative, they would have to start now. It would take 5 years for them to catch up to what Universal has done. So, and I don't think they realize what's about to happen. And by the time they realize, then they have to have a meeting, get the board together, get the investors. And I think for the next 10 years, Universal is going to be drawing audiences away from Disney and into Universal.
And also what they've said, I mean, what WDW Pro said yesterday was that they couldn't even try to fix it if they had a 5th gate. So the gates right now are Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and the stupid other one nobody likes, Hollywood. My brain doesn't work
Well,
right now.
also-
I know this by heart, but basically they would just have to redo all of Magic Kingdom for it to even work. But then they're also taking over the legacy of Walt Disney. So do they want to do that? But Walt Disney World right now, at least in Orlando, looks like a joke.
Well, they've also been torching themselves on the politically with this DEI crap and everything else. So it's going to be really, they've been their IPs are just not what they used to be. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of crazy the situation they're in. Because I remember I grew up in California for a while, and Universal Studios was always second rate to Disneyland, and Disneyland was nothing that special, but it was the best theme park in California at the time.
Yeah, it was the one you went to on the way to, or as another. Oh, you can see my hand. As another another day of your vacation, but you wouldn't take time out of your vacation to go for more than a day.
No, Universal was nothing special. Everything was kind of run down, and it was more. It was half a theme park, half an actual movie studio. So it has actual functionality and things like that. So they also had Knott's Berry Farm I went to as a kid because they're all in the same area. Yeah. And then Magic Mountain was a little bit of a drive, but Magic Mountain was actually the best because they had the best roller coasters. But they redid the Disney theme park in California and added California Adventures, which was quite successul. But they're going to have to do something even more major than that to redo Disneyland here. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else about this, or should we go into the next story?
We can go to the next story. You can go check out, there's a million blogs now of all the influencers that went to go to the pre-shows at Epic Universe. But, it does look amazing. Of course, it's super expensive, and I don't think I'll be going anytime soon. But
well, it's the same price as Disney World, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but traveling from Mexico to there, staying at the hotel, etc.
Well, it's expensive, but it's on par. Oh, go back up to the Mario fountain.
Oh, yeah, the coins.
That looks amazing.
Oh, sorry. That's really cool. And also just fire.
Yeah, they have fire all over this place, and it's just really cool. They're adding fire inside.
Well,
indoors
they already
as well.
had the fire-breathing dragon at the Harry Potter town. Why does my brain not work?
Okay.
Whatever.
Why don't we move on to the next story? But Matt, I was fascinated when they were going into this because I knew it was opening. I just wasn't expecting a lot. Oh, one more thing I would want to say. Universal took a lot of the Imagineers from Disney because Disney had been investing in DEI and firing a lot and getting rid of a lot of their more
Imagineers.
Traditional staff and their older Imagineers, and they've been hiring real young kids out of college. So even if they want to fix Disney World at this point, I don't know if these Imagineers will be able to do it. They just don't have the experience. They're going to have to rehire the people they had, and a lot of the people they had are going to feel betrayed.
Yes.
Okay, let's go into the next story real quick. Why don't you go into your camera? I'm going to fix one of the lights real quick.
Okay. Hello. So Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, you're just going to walk by me. Anyways. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav's 2024 pay package rises to $51.9 million. The company disclosed the latest annual compensation details for its top executives. Another rich man getting paid more. Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav received blah, blah, blah. The entertainment conglomerate disclosed latest pay details for its top executives in a regulatory filing on Friday. Zaslav's compensation increase of 4% was driven by higher non-equity incentive pay plan from $22 million to $23.9 million and slightly higher stock awards. I don't know why you had this one up.
I already talked about this one, actually. I was talking about how CEOs' pay is so high and how the money needs to be distributed maybe a little bit differently. You have one CEO making almost $5 million a month at a movie studio. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Yes. Now, I'm all for capitalism, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, well, just considering where they're spending their money as well. They could be doing almost a low-budget movie with that.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
And that's just one of their executives, so...
Okay, let's go to the next story because I did cover this already.
Okay, so Justin Baldoni Blake Lively legal saga, publicist Stephanie Jones rebuts specious allegations that she leaked confidential information.
Okay, and I mainly put this in here not to talk about the Justin Baldoni saga that's going on with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but to say Ryan Reynolds needs to have a settlement on this case. I don't care what it cost him. How much are they suing him for again? $4 billion or something? Or 40? Sorry, it was $40 million or 400. It's either 40 or 400 million. It was an insane amount of money, though. I think it was 400 million because it was enough to bankrupt him, if I remember right.
I'm looking for it. Why didn't they put it up at the top? Doesn't say.
Okay, I believe it was 400 million because it was enough to bankrupt Ryan Reynolds. But even if it cost him $100 million in the settlement, they need to settle the amount of bad publicity they're getting off of this is absolutely ridiculous. It's not only torturing Blake Lively's career, which he didn't have much of one before this, but it's really hitting Ryan Reynolds very hard. Now, the problem with maybe trying to have a settlement is Baldoni is backed by a billionaire that's funding his legal team, and Ryan Reynolds really went over the top to insult this guy. I mean, the things he was doing was a little crazy, and Baldoni may not want a settlement. He may want to take this all the way through, but if Ryan Reynolds hasn't tried it yet, he needs to try to settle out of court. And basically what happened, along with the publicist that's been brought in, there is a whole herd of people that were trying to steal this movie from Baldoni because he had bought the rights, and they tried to do this through sexual harassment allegations. At least that's what's being alleged.
Essay.
Essayed. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on it. But if I was Ryan Reynolds, it's time to make a settlement.
Yeah. Next one.
Yeah, I know you don't like to talk about this because you love Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
No, I don't love
them. And I used to really like Ryan Reynolds. After this, man, the guy just needs to disappear for a little while and then reemerge and rebuild his career.
I think he's torched by now. Like, there's too much evidence that he's crazy and controlling and weird.
Yeah, but he's not torched. People will still, especially the moderates. There's enough moderates that still love Deadpool, and he's. Yeah.
But for me, it's not about loving them. It's more about, I still have whiplash from the whole Johnny Depp thing. So getting into another trial of he said, she said just hurts my head.
I would love it for it to be televised, though.
Yeah, but no. I think they're going to settle eventually.
If there is another big case that I'm interested in and it's televised, we're probably going to cover it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
Okay.
King of Kings. This is a cute story.
Oh, I had massive notes. This was my big story. This is my big story for the day.
King of King pre-sales now at 14.6 million, poised to overtake Prince of Egypt animated biblical picture opening record, and also overtake Snow White's pre-sales as well.
Yep, and this is being produced by Angel Films. They didn't actually Angel Studios, which we've talked about in the past, which is an amazing studio. They did The Sound of Freedom. If you haven't seen that, go see it. But the amount of stars in this movie is crazy, and Angel Studios actually bought this off a Korean production company. And a lot of these stars would not have been in this movie if they knew Angel Studios was going to be the final distributor of it. So Angel Studios has really been buying up a lot of good films and then distributing them themselves. So I'm going to name a little bit of a list of people that are in it. Some of them I hate, but the fact that they got this kind of star power in a religious film is pretty amazing. They have Mark Hamill, Pierce Brosnan, Oscar Isaac, Uma Thurman, Forrest Whitaker, and there was a bunch of others as well. But those were the primary names people would probably recognize.
Interesting.
Do you have anything else, or do you want me to go on with my notes here? Because I got a lot.
Well, I was gonna go in your notes, then I'll read the article.
Why don't you read the article and then I'll go back to my notes?
Fine. Angel Studios family pick. Angel Studios, if you don't know, are also the ones that brought us Sound of Freedom. The King of Kings has already clocked 14.6 million in pre-sales and could wind up, editing, outstripping DreamWorks Animation, The Prince of Egypt as the best opening ever for an animated biblical movie. 1 million tickets have been pre-sold, further boosted by Angel's Kids Go Free campaign, which allows one free kids ticket with each adult ticket purchase. King of Kings opens in more than 3,200 locations nationwide this weekend. We'd have to see I didn't check if in Mexico there's going to be any release.
If there's not, it's crazy because Mexico is the perfect market for this movie to come out in. I mean, there's tons of children here. Every restaurant you go to has a play area for kids. It's not like in the States where people aren't having kids. And people love animated movies here. And people are also highly religious. So it would be the perfect market. But it's extremely well done animation-wise. It looks a lot like a Pixar movie, and it's getting a lot of backlash from Hollywood, of course, because it's a religious movie with mainstream distribution. What else was I going to say here? This is kind of a little bit of maybe the beginning of a renaissance for religious movies, because right now we have The Chosen, The Last Supper, Part 1, 2, and 3, all of which are doing good numbers in theaters right now. Plus, this movie is coming out, and then we have The Passion of the Christ 2 currently entering production, which is Mel Gibson's new movie about the sequel to the original Passion of the Christ, which did extremely well. Now, the fact that these huge stars are in this means this was a high-budget movie. And if you just see the animation, it also indicates this was a high-budget movie. It was done by a Korean studio, and they must have found out Hollywood does not like religious movies, and they probably had a really hard time getting distribution for this thing into the mainstream. So I think this is why Angel Studios was probably able to pick it up. They were probably able to pick it up on the cheap as well. And the great thing about Angel Studios is they're in the religious sphere and they distribute movies like this a lot. So they know how to do it. Just like when Mel Gibson released The Passion of the Christ, he had to get churchgoers to back the movie. He distributed it within churches. This movie actually gets getting theater release because Angel Studios has a reputation amongst theater owners now that their movies do fairly well when they are released. So,
and I checked, it is in Mexico. I think they're already selling tickets for tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm guessing because it's, I don't know how to say it in English, Semana Santa. So it's like 2 week, people have 2 weeks off right now. Hopefully you get to enjoy vacations. If you don't, we'll also still be working. But it's a great time to release it because all the kids are off from school as well.
A lot of the bigger theaters, I'm expecting to ban this, potentially AMC or some of the other bigger U.S. theaters. They do not like religious movies in their theaters. The smaller independent theaters, Angel Studios has a good relationship with, and they're able to pre-sell tickets. This has been Angel Studios, like God Save. They do a pay it forward ticket. So they give you a barcode you can scan at the end of the movie and buy a ticket for somebody else if you'd like them to see the movie. Also, their pre-sales are amazing. So this is already really putting pressure on more and more theaters to ask to get this movie into their theaters, I think.
Yeah. And quickly, Eduardo Lopez says, get well soon, Nat. Thank you. Walker says, maybe Control F to find the specific information on the text. Yeah, but I didn't see any dollar signs. And Walker says, I used to like Ryan Reynolds, but now just no. Yeah, same. He's a pompous prick.
Yeah. Okay, we can move on to this, but I am glad to see that movie is going to do extremely well.
Sorry for getting you all dizzy. Couldn't control the page. Oscars adds Best Stunt Design category starting in 2027.
And this is, it's about time they added stunts to the Oscars. Now, I don't know what Best Stunt Design category means. Does that mean the best stunt designed overall for a movie? So the stunt coordinator is going to get it and not the stunt man? Because if that's the case, they need to have the Best Stunt Man Oscar as well. And this also has further drawing implications where they're going to put more larger stunts in movies because they're going to want to win this Oscar. So it's always good when they're adding stuff like this because this is going to bring more action into movies, I think.
Yeah, so a stunt design category is coming to the Oscars. The Board of Governors of the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences announced today the creation of an annual competitive Academy Award for achievement in stunt design, beginning with the 100th Academy Awards in 2028 release for films released in 2027. led the initiative. Director and producer from The Fall Guy, Bullet Train, and Deadpool led the initiative on behalf of the stunt community to institute the new official Oscar category. I want to find if it says anything else, how they're going to be.
And that's the dog chewing on the toy. If anybody can hear the
yes,
the
we have to distract her or she barks.
Dog chew toy. And Natalia's sitting by the dog, or Nat's sitting by the dog tonight. So
yes. I mean, they haven't really said what. Okay. Category rules will be announced in 2027.
I just kind of put this in here to show that this is the good direction the Academy is going, and this is an award for more normies. It's not one of those woke awards you're going to give out. I don't know how you make a stunt woke, but I'm sure they'll find a way.
Well, a lot of the stunt performers are more, manly men, but also you get a lot of women who think they're men, and they go into stunting to, prove a point. But we also see, unfortunately, stunt performers are one of the people in production that lose their lives most often. So I think it is important to have, some acknowledgement of the work they do.
Well, I used to know a ton of stunt performers, more than probably most, because I worked at an MMA gym and I actually used to teach there. And one of the other instructors was a stuntman on the side as well. But once he got in, he got a bunch of other people in. So a lot of stuntmen are affiliated with MMA gyms and things like this. So they're just normal good guys. I would say it's not like this woke bunch of people.
Well, it's the same as that. I mean, I would meet all the time on set, all of the grips, the lighting people, the carpenters, the painters, anybody that doesn't do anything to do with a paper or paperwork, they're great. They're all great. They're all like these big, super kind men. One time I was trying to leave the set and my car run out of battery because I left the light on the whole time while I was there. I was there for 12 hours, and just like 5 of the transport guys and 1 of the lighting guys came over with their cars and helped me jumpstart my own car. And like it was pouring rain, and they were all just really nice. So.
Oh yeah, everybody's great on set. The problem is if something goes wrong with your check, sometimes they don't want to do it over the phone. They tell you go into the office. You got to go in the office to fix something. And as soon as you do, it's nothing but woke garbage.
Yeah, locations is also very woke.
Yeah,
all the
you got to sign on. You got to sign on just to get into the studio. You got to sign in with your pronouns. A bunch of fucking.
All the production assistants are very woke. Anything that has to do like more on the production side. Yeah, I would say are the woker category. So yeah, locations were insufferable all the time. Yeah. PAs. What else? Costume design, of course, is going to be insufferable. Makeup artists were pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, they're trying to get the camera division more and more woke. Camera division used to not be, and it stayed kind of unwoke because it's a very physical job.
Yeah. I was about to go into that, and then all the strikes happened, and it went nowhere. Yeah, they tried to use DEI to wokeify the camera division, but so far it's like it really hasn't worked so well. So because you actually got to do work. Yeah, and I mean the camera people, a lot of them are coming from film school, but essentially in a production or on a set. Anybody that's coming from film school is going to be insufferable and woke. Anybody that got into it because they were an electrician, because they were just interested in the craft, because they can do rigging, they've done construction, they're all great. Yeah, I remember where I've worked union... Drivers were great. Yeah, I've worked union films and non-union films in the past, either doing lighting, grip, or camera. And man, it was funny to see because I would work with the camera guy because I was a grip pretty often. I was pretty strong at the time, so I could really help with the cameras if people had trouble, or I could help with the camera crane and stuff like that. But they would have their camera assistants straight out of film school, and in a non-union set, they can yell and they can treat you however they want. And it was pretty funny because on a union set, you cannot act like that, period. No. Yeah. Okay, let's go into the next story. 1 second, I'm trying to I think it's, how many more stories we got here? 2 more before the Green Monster. Yeah. And the Green Monster is RUMBLE. We'll be headed there directly after we do the culture to get into politics, which YouTube doesn't like us talking about. Yeah. So I'm trying to center it, but I can't. So whatever. Ahead of spaceflight, Katy Perry is reading Carl Sagan and channeling her feminine divine.
Yeah, I just added this in because it was a story I covered yesterday.
Yeah.
And now that freaking Katy Perry's on the damn spaceship.
It was.
Yeah, well, I know.
Okay.
But I just didn't mention it yesterday.
Oh.
This is a little bit ridiculous. It's like feminism empowerment. We're going to space like we did it. Like you did nothing but jump on the spacecraft after it was built. They're not trained astronauts. They're not anything else. They didn't go to school for any of this. And they're trying to use this as some feminist empowerment moment. I don't like it. It's a propaganda stunt by Jeff Bezos because his company is probably failing at this point because Elon Musk is starting to dominate the market now.
Do you think they're paying them? Because, I mean, Katy Perry has a kid, so if anything goes wrong,
She better have
Orlando
insurance.
Bloom is left by himself. Another man that has been completely destroyed by her feminism.
I mentioned it yesterday that Bezos' wife's on that ship, so maybe he
They're
wants
all
to
just trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, maybe he wants to get rid of her.
All the insufferable women. But yeah, funnily enough, I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but the Katy Perry Russell Brand connection, and Russell Brand right now is going through hell by allegations that have been dug up from 30 years ago, apparently, like ish.
A bunch. If they couldn't find anything on Andrew Tate, they're not finding like nothing on Russell Brand.
No, they're trying really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that on Monday probably.
Okay. Let's go into the last story before we head over to the Green Monster.
What was your last story?
Oh, this was my favorite one. You had an article about it.
Well, I couldn't find an article. It's the actual. So hopefully we don't get copyright issues.
So Andrew Wilson is the best Christian nationalist debater that there is. He's actually one of the best blood sport debaters. So if you do like debates, type up Andrew Wilson. You'll find a bunch of great debates from him. He has the most thought out points. He starts at a baseline level and he won't let his opponent get past that until he breaks him down. But here, they teamed him up with the blonde chick right there, who's a conservative, but all three of these women ended up being feminists. And Andrew Wilson absolutely hates feminism, even if it comes in a conservative skin suit. So he was calling all three of these girls out nonstop. And the fat girl in the red shirt, it was a trans girl or trans man. I don't know what you would want to say it. And the other one was a TERF.
Julie Bindel.
Yeah, she's a...
I actually like talking on, I mean, of course, the gender critical side, which are all the, I guess, TERFS, because you can't say that word on YouTube, I don't think. But like everybody that's called that TERFS, which is an insult. They're usually feminists and they're gender critical and they're like very staunchly feminist. But Julie Bindel actually has done some good for keeping men out of women's lives and spaces.
I mean, so, the other girl,
but she is incredibly like a huge giant feminist. But I mean, so is J.K. Rowling, and I still, just on her gender critical part, agree with her. But I would never call myself gender critical because it's all about feminism.
Yeah, but I do like, because a lot of these conservative feminists, or these feminists that do help in certain areas, try to skate, and the rest of the conservative community or really lets them do it because they help in one area. Mm-hmm. They don't call them out on their feminist behavior in the other areas. Andrew Wilson really knocked it out of the park on all three of these girls.
And my main thing with feminists that are now criticizing men and women's sports, and I'll continue to make the videos in the feminism series that I was doing, but it got too long, is the fact that, I mean, the whole trans ideology came from feminism, by women saying women are just as like men. Women shouldn't be defined by their femininity, shouldn't be defined by being a woman. A woman can do anything a man can do. And now it's been proven, or they keep trying to prove that they had to let in men do the exact same thing and become women, because otherwise their argument would crumble. Well, so now they're trying to, backtrack and erase everything they once thought was correct. And that's what that's one of the things that I think feminism is at fault for, the whole trans insanity.
It was interesting to see their positions on this thing, because they don't want to take the position of letting trans women in women's sports anymore. Men. They want to take the position of there should only be one sport. which is they think, oh, this is a better argument. It's not a better argument, but Andrew Wilson is the only one that said, yeah, we should let trans women in women's sports. And once they get their teeth knocked out and everything else, they'll realize they're the ones that voted for it because men did not vote for this.
Which that is an argument, and I told you this beforehand. This is an argument I made in a terrible kind of debate we had, one of our first videos once we got back to Mexico. But I made the argument that like a lot of people have been trying to help these women and these girls in sports, and if they're not going to stand up, then just let the men go in until they get fed up, and which is kind of what happened until Trump signed the executive order. But I was saying, and you said no, you said that they should have their own league, but they shouldn't be in the sports, and I said no, let them get to a point where they actually have to stand up for themselves. If they're not going to let anybody else stand up for them, then just let them suffer until they decide that.
But I think the element that you weren't saying is that they're the ones that voted for it, so they're going to need to face reality in order for their voting behavior to change.
That eloquently, but I did say they need to suffer the consequences.
That's the point on how you really do make change. If women don't ever have to realize that they're voting for these insane policies, they're never going to change their voting patterns, which is going to mean society's never going to really change. Mm-hmm. And it's going to go more and more and more progressive. So having to have women actually deal with these consequences hopefully will change their voting pattern.
Yeah, and when I said it, it was mostly only Riley Gaines speaking up against it. So now that everybody's speaking up against it, it makes less sense.
Okay, and I think we'll go to the 2-shot there, me and the little dog.
That one? No, that one.
Yeah, the big one. There we go. Okay, we're going to head over to the Green Monster now, which is RUMBLE. Nat will be here in person live on Monday. Yes. Again, I had to drag her out of bed. Her voice is a little bit better, but she's still really under the weather. That's why I got this dog as a stand-in and her as a voiceover.
Yeah, I think you can hear it in my voice still.
Yeah.
It's not raspy. It just sounds sick.
And I'm going to get into some pretty crazy political ideas over on Rumble talking about...
Why do you spell it out and then say the name?
I forgot. Okay, let's head over there.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday. We're going out and be safe always. We'll see you Monday.
Oh, was there any comments?
And on RUMBLE. The last one was Walker just saying, I used to like Ryan Reynolds, but now just no.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. Same.
I'm going to log into Rumble here and just make sure everything's going.
Ending on YouTube.
Perfect.